Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we make custom acrylic discs. Now I had to ship out the discs in a rush to get them to the customer on time, so I don't actually have them here with me, but I do have the sheet that we cut them from, and we can still talk about acrylic, so everything's sort of good on that. So here's acrylic. You can see the nesting that I could achieve, number one, with the laser. I can actually go closer, but I like to give a little bit of a distance here, and the reason for that is because acrylic really likes to warp on you. It tends to hold on to heat, not as much as polycarbonate, which really warps on you, but it does hold on to heat. And if you have too many cuts close to one another, you can actually have the acrylic sheet sort of bend upwards and downwards on you. Now, the nice thing about acrylic, depending on your application of course, is that it's very brittle. So very easy to break off. This is 1/8 acrylic, or 3mm, and it's clear acrylic. So this is the masking. And generally what we do is we ship out projects with this masking on it on both sides. And the reason for that is because it keeps everything nice and clean. Now the downside about acrylic is that once it's scratched, it's impossible to get rid of that scratch. It's just there permanent. You could buff it all you want. Then what you do is you see the buffing marks. So there's no way around that. That's why a lot of customers who want something that's optically clear, they go with polycarbonate instead. It is definitely more expensive for the same thickness, but you have the optical clarity that you need, and it's a lot more scratch resistant. One of my favorite aspects about acrylic isn't actually the cutting process, it's what to do with the scraps. Now the scraps are wonderful because when you throw them in a fire, they just produce a straight up flame, blue flame, the hottest flame you've ever had, and it's absolutely amazing. So if you want to start a fire, acrylic is a great way to do it. It's even better than gas. When you're outdoors, of course. Now, as you see here, I'm cutting the inside and the outside, and you can also tell that it's clear acrylic, because if you look very closely, you can actually see the grid table underneath of both the masking at the top and the bottom. And it looks like a whole bunch of little squares, and there you go, you can see it very clearly there. So what you don't see here is the huge flame underneath while I'm laser cutting it. Now that's dangerous because that's highly combustible. So I have the vacuum system running, I have the air assist shooting down air. That's just why the flame's underneath, not on top. But whenever you laser cut any sort of, basically solid gas like this here, the result will be amazing, but you have to be careful with it because you can actually very quickly, burn down your shop doing this kind of stuff. Water jet, you don't have to worry about it. It's a cold process and it's a wet process and there's no flame anywhere. So it's got its advantages there. With the router, exactly the same thing. There's no flame anywhere, and it actually goes a little bit faster on larger pieces than the laser, exponentially as you get thicker. Now the nice thing about acrylic is it can be cut using a whole bunch of different methods. In this case here, I used obviously my CNC laser. The result is a nice flame polish, as you see here. Now I could have routed this as well, and I could achieve something close to this with the router. But it wears out pretty quick with the router bit. And if I use the water jet, then it'll be like a sanded finish. So each one is a plus and a minus. The nice thing about the laser is it's a no contact method, so I can't have things nested this close. If I was routering it out, there's no way I could do that because I'm pushing and pulling through material, and I have to account for the thickness or the diameter, I guess, of the bit going through it. So let's say I'm using, just for extreme examples, a 1/2 inch bit. I can't have this kind of spacing because the 1/2 inch would be offset by roughly, 1/2 inch outwards to cut the same diameter. With the water jet, you don't have that problem, but you have a new problem, and that is overspray and underspray. Now I'll just bring off another piece to show you. So what overspray and underspray is you have the water jet shooting down here, and sometimes what happens is that the water just gets right in between this paper layer, sometimes it's plastic, and the surface here. So you end up with like sprays, either on the underside or the overside or the top side of the acrylic sheet, and there's no way again to get rid of that. So it really depends on the application if you care or not. Water jet is definitely slower than laser, but as you go thicker, water jet starts to gain prominence for better finish quality. Now again, you can use the router as well for thicker acrylic, but you got to remember this is very brittle as well. So for very small pieces, laser is definitely the way to go. Then water jet. If you have very large pieces, let's say like a huge diameter thing like this, definitely the router's the one to go to. So if you're looking for custom fabrication, contact me at CNCKing.com. We'll make it for you and ship it right to your door.